So, Star Sailors. Honestly, I don't have anything much to say about this because I haven't played this game that much. But this is from Come To Us, the makers of Summoner's War. Maybe it's gonna be pay to win like Summoner's War, maybe it's gonna be competitive like Summoner's War, but it is a turn-based gacha game. And looking at it, it is so similar to Honkai Star Rail, but unfortunately it has no PC client, so you gotta play it in an emulator or just your phone. It is quite unfortunate. I mean, it does look very appealing to the eyes, so might as well try it. It's free. Hopefully it's not that bad. Let's start off with Brown Dust 2, a tactical turn-based combat with a positioning heavy system where unit placement on a grid determines who gets hit by area attacks. The art in this game is absolutely gorgeous, basically carrying this game for the most part, some of the best character designs in the genre. The combat has more depth than people give it credit for, and the story is surprisingly dark for its aesthetic, so I think this one is a must play, not to mention this game is also quite free to play friendly, and the fan service is top tier. Pokemon TCG Pocket. This one is not the traditional gacha RPG, but it still belongs here. Digital Pokemon card collecting and battling. The battle, which is turn-based, so again, turn-based gacha games, it belongs here. The opening packs mechanic is really addicting because that's probably the reason why people are still playing this game, and the matches are snappy enough for a mobile game. It's Pokemon, it's cards, it prints billions of dollars, and people are addicted to gambling. Heaven Burns Red. This one is Key's first mobile game, which means if you know Key, you already know the emotional damage coming in the story department. So this one is a turn-based combat with a story so emotionally heavy, has its own warning label. The girls fight in a world being destroyed by cancer-like life forms. In this game, you will get attached to all the characters because the story is engaging, and that's basically the good part about this game. Now, I know before, I think they made some questionable changes here and there, but I think it is still worth trying if you are looking for a story-driven turn-based gacha game. Seven Knights Rebirth. Now, this one is a remake to the long-running Seven Knights franchise. This one is basically the same as the old one, turn-based combat with clean production values, a new story here and there sometimes, and a more polished experience than its predecessor. But I do have to give them credit, even though it is not Marble. They are staying true to the franchise, which means that the gameplay and everything is basically the same. All the systems from the real Seven Knights are here in Seven Knights Rebirth, like your ruby farming, your auto battle, PvP, which is really good, honestly. This one is a good, solid mid-tier option for people who want something less demanding in a gacha turn-based game than the genre leaders like Honkai Star Rail, Fire Emblem Heroes, or Fate Grand Order. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Now this one is ancient as fuck, dude, but it's still going. I don't know how. It is a turn-based squad combat across the Star Wars roster, deep character synergy systems, and a meta that's been brewing for close to a decade. Visually, this one is not flashy, this one is really old school as you can see from the video, but it is still kind of fun if you play it for like a week or two. Still a cash grab, obviously, but I think it is still fun, because nowadays it's only like anime gacha games and this one is not, so I think that is a good thing if you want something different. Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent. Now this is Square Enix prequel to Octopath Traveler, running on the same gorgeous HD 2D engine. In general, this game is really good. The combat system is the classic Octopath Traveler structure. Every enemy has a shield point and a set of elemental and weapon weaknesses, and hitting weaknesses depletes their shields. Break the shields and the enemy is stunned, losing their turn and taking increased damage. The boost point system lets you bank up to 5 points and spend them to amplify any action, whether that's hitting multiple times, extending buffs, or boosting skill power, which creates real decisions around when to go all in on a vulnerable enemy versus saving resources. Multiple protagonists each have unique overworld abilities for interacting with NPCs, and the story expands the Octopath world in ways the original only hinted at. One of the cleaner JRPG to gacha translation in the genre. So Octopath COTC, a really good game I do recommend it. And yeah, maybe in the release day it's not that good because it lacks quality of life, but right about now it's really awesome. Next is Rise of Eros. Look, you know what this is. It's an adult content gacha with turn-based RPG combat. It's corn with gacha elements. Mechanically, it's a standard team-based turn-based system with elemental affinities, scale rotations, and character progression through the usual upgrade rails. The characters are designed with a very specific audience in mind, and the explicit content is the actual product being sold, and I am not complaining. This game is actually good. Like, it's visually appealing, the turn-based combat is good in general, and it is trying to be their own game, so what's not to love about Rise of Heroes? And it is on Steam, guys, come on! Play this game. And yes, there is corn scene in this game. Wizardry variants Daphne, a proper dungeon crawler RPG leaning hard into the Wizardry lineage. Combat is first person and formation based, with your party arranged in front and back rows that determine which characters can reach enemies and which are exposed to attacks. This game is really challenging, it is really hard. The turn-based combat encounters are punishing by design, status effects land frequently, resources are very limited, and that carries real consequences in the form of potential permanent character loss unless you recover the body. The dungeon exploration itself is this grid-based movement, like old school dungeon crawling, you know, like Persona. Not Persona, I forgot the name. Man, it's an Atlas game, of course, but yes, it is your old school grid-based movement type of thing. It's not the best, it's not my cup of tea, but it is serviceable and I like it. It's a game trying to be their own game and really challenging, and for players who want a gacha that actually has some challenge and has this old school vibe, I think this is for you, man. And it is on Steam, don't forget about that, so you have that convenient. Next is Persona 5 The Phantom X. Well, this one is not made by Atlus internally, but it carries the Persona 5 Royal aesthetic with enough fidelity that the handoff mostly works. Combat, really similar to Persona 5 Royale, hit an enemy's elemental or physical weakness to knock them down, knock down all enemies to trigger an all-out attack for massive damage, and chain one more actions after successful hits to extend your turn. The Baton Pass system carries over too, but it's a little bit different. This system is letting you chain turns between party members while building a damage multiplier. A full confidence system is of course in this game, but they are not confident, they are something else. I actually forgot the name. But of course, like in Persona 5 Royale, this system, you know, if you level them up, you will unlock passive combat bonuses. New protagonist, new story, same stylish turn-based loop. So I think if you like Persona 5 Royale, or you want to try Persona 5 in general, I think this is for you. Now, mind you that Persona 5 Royale will always be the superior product than this one. Another Eden, yeah, the old school JRPG turn-based game. This one has no PvP, no energy timers, and written by Masato Karo of Chrono Trigger. So yeah, it does have that Chrono Trigger formula. The battle system is the standard turn-based JRPG with 4 active party members, but it gets interesting through the Another Force system, a gotcha that feels as characters act, and when triggered, it slows time and grants free actions to chain skills for massive burst damage. The zone system overlays the battlefield with elemental and status zones that empower specific skill types, and positioning your characters to exploit or create zones at a second strategic layer. And this Grasta socketing provides deep character building through slottable stat and ability modifications. So it plays like a real JRPG and that happens to have a gacha system in it. And I think this one is a very good game in general, so I think you should definitely try this one, even though this one is an older game and it's not as flashy as other modern turn-based gacha game. Fire Emblem Heroes, yeah, this game still exists, so this one is basically your Fire Emblem, and holy shit, it's been running for 7+ years. Combat is this map-based tactical with each unit moving one at a time across a small grid. Man, this is so Fire Emblem. Do I really have to explain what this is? Well, I guess if you don't know, then here you go. Attacking adjacent or ranged enemies based on weapon type and range. The weapon triangle advantage system from the mainline games carries over in this one, and a massive library of combat arts, special abilities, and equipable skills means each character can be deeply customized for specific roles, merging duplicate units, applying dragon flowers, and passing down skills from other characters through the inherit skill system form the core progression loop of this game. Aether raids and resonant battles are the endgame competitive modes with real mechanical depth. If you ever wanted your entire favorite Fire Emblem roster in one place, then this is the game for you. But then again, this is a gacha game. Please enjoy it while it lasts. This game has been really good, honestly, so try it out yourself. Man, Honkai Star Rail, man, this one is still very popular, guys. Combat runs on a speed-based action queue where your 4 characters and enemies all share a single timeline, and manipulating turn order through speed stats and skill effects is fundamental to mastering the game. The break system is quite nice, honestly, when it first came out. So every enemy has a toughness bar depleted by matching their elemental weaknesses, and when it hits 0, they enter this broken state that delays their turn, amplifies damage taken, and applies a weakness-specific effect depending on the element used. Combat has 3 layers to manage: skill points, ultimates, and taking damage. And of course, talent passives with their own conditions. I forgot about that. Now, this game has a bit of a controversial take on for everybody. Some might say this game is good, some might say this game is a pay-to-win slop. And honestly, yeah, yes and no at the same time, because in my opinion, this game is still really good. In its core, the gameplay is so simple yet rewarding, yet it is deep in a certain way. Because you have a lot of modes in this game, like the simulated universe, the roguelike mode, and the memory of chaos, which is the end game content. I mean, yeah, it is good, but in one way, this game is bad because the HP inflation on the end game content. And yeah, sometimes you do need to pull for the newer characters so you can defeat the newer content. That's not good. But again, I think Honkai Star Rail is still a very good game. But just things to keep in mind that, yeah, this game is quite pay to win. So if you want to play this game, your fun may vary from others because you might be super unlucky, you don't get the things that you want, so you end up not progressing. That's basically all Hoyoverse games, or basically all gacha games. Summoner's War, holy shit, the grandfather of the modern gacha genre. Yeah, it is still running strong in this game, and there's even a world championships that's still going on. Combat is straightforward turn-based with 4 units per side, but the rune system underneath is where the game actually, how do I say this? A pain in the ass. You need to grind your rune, basically the equipment system. So every monster equips up to 6 runes across slot types, and you need to farm the right rune combinations to be super effective in the game and in the end game. Because you need speed stats in this game. Because turn order is governed by speed stats, and the meta around speed tuning, striping enemy buffs, and landing crowd control before your opponent can act is genuinely complex. The monster skill variety is massive because it has a ton of content. The monster skill variety is massive after a decade of content, and the global competitive ladder has maintained its competitiveness. This game is not pretty by modern standards, but the real juice, it's in its PvP and World Championships. So I guess kudos to them for still making this game alive. Next is Chaos Zero Nightmare, made by Super Creative, the studio behind Epic 7, which tells you that they have 2D animation quality. This one ditches the traditional turn-based combat entirely for a roguelike deck builder that is inspired by the likes of Slay the Spire. Now, this one is wrapped in this psychological horror aesthetics set aboard a ship called the SS Nightmare, being consumed by a cosmic entity called Chaos. The core loop is, as you all know, Slay the Spire, this deck building stuff. You traverse a node map, choosing paths between battles, events, and loot, and you draw 5 cards per turn in combat, and spend up 3 energy points per turn to execute all the enemies. Each combatant character contributes 5 unique cards to your deck. and building synergy between combatants is where the depth lives. There is a mental breakdown system in this game, which is quite nice, tracking each character's psychological stress throughout a run, with high stress degrading performance and affecting outcomes in ways that can spiral a run in the most challenging way possible. A branching save data system means narrative choices carry across runs, same like your usual roguelite stuff, and unlike most gacha games, the core dungeon gameplay has no stamina system. I mean, for grinding your like equipment and stuff, you need stamina. And when I played this game is so similar to how Honkai Star Rail works in progression and everything. So just keep that in mind. But nonetheless, this is a very good niche game, and yeah, you need to play this game manually. For grinding, you have auto, but for like story dungeon, you don't have auto. You need to play this manually. So there's the fun in that. Up next is Morimens. Similar to Chaos Zero Nightmare, this one is a slower, more atmospheric gacha set in a world where death and memory are literal combat mechanics. Turn-based combat is same as Chaos Zero Nightmare or Slay the Spire, but here is where it gets really good, because each encounter is designed around specific conditions rather than raw power checks, requiring you to read enemy patterns and respond with the right counters from your party's skill set. Characters are tied to the concept of mores, which is your memory fragments of the dead, which feed into both the narrative and the upgrade system. The tone is quite melancholic to almost a fault. The art direction is stunning. Yes, it is very unique, and yes, it is very niche. The community is very small, but they are devoted, they are passionate about the game, and will absolutely tell you the story if this game is worth it. And yeah, this game is worth it. And this game is also on Steam, so you have that convenient. Mecharashi, this one is also on Steam, so you have that convenient. This one was originally developed as Front Mission before Square Enix pulled the license. So what you've got is essentially Gacha Front Mission under a different name and a lawsuit to go with it. Honestly, I still don't know how this game is not being sued, but then again, I'll take it. Combat takes place on an action-driven grid where you move mechs across tiles and spend AP to attack specific body parts of enemy machines. The part destruction system is the whole game. Targeting legs limits enemy movement, destroying weapon arms removes their firepower, and drilling the torso ends the fight instantly. Yeah, same like Gundam-ish, okay? Mechs are assembled from individual components, which pilots then drive, and pilots and mechs are acquired through separate gacha banners, same like your, character banner and weapon banner. 6 distinct pilot roles including Sniper, Guardian, Mechanic, Raider, Fighter, and Tactician. Each demand different positioning and targeting priorities. Link attacks fire when a nearby ally is in range, support attacks chain automatically during counters, and the whole thing comes together as an earnest attempt to bring Front Mission's tactical warfare to mobile. And yeah, this game is quite nice, this game is unique, this game is basically Front Mission. If you haven't tried it, try this now. And I know some of you guys who loves tactics games will definitely enjoy this game here and there. Kaiju number 8, the game. Yeah, this game is quite staying true to the anime, so I think that is nice. Combat is basically the same as Honkai Star Rail, 4 people party member and just defeat the boss. That's pretty much it. This game is not that popular, honestly. I don't know how to explain this game. This game is just the Kaiju number 8 anime, the game. It's turn-based like Honkai Star Rail most of the time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to say. So try this game out. This game is also on Steam. It's free. I don't know if this game is worth playing or not because I haven't played that much about this game. Just tried it. I think it looks nice. Plays okay, but I'd rather play something else than this game. Girls Frontline 2 Exillium. Now this is of course one of my favorite turn-based gacha game. This is basically XCOM on your phone, dressed up in guns and girls. It's just that. Girls Frontline 2 features genuine tactical gameplay on a grid battlefield where cover is destructible, flanking enemies deals bonus damage, and unit positioning versus attack angles determines whether enemies can even hit you. It's really good. Each doll, yeah, you say doll in this game, the playable units, has a skill set of active abilities and passives, and you spend action points per turn on moving, attacking, and using skills, with Overwatch mechanics letting units respond to enemy movement. The neural helix system provides a deep character upgrade path with branching nodes that is quite meaningful, that can change the character you are using. Story is surprisingly compelling for a game this thirsty on waifus, and they have the new system. The dorm system is exactly what you think it is. Yeah, you can hang out with your favorite waifu, the Netflix and chill type of hangout. So I think that's nice. And like I said, gameplay is quite legit in this one. Epic 7. Now again, one of my favorite turn-based anime gacha game. Man, this one is old, I know, but Epic 7 is so good. And so similar to Summoner's War. So this Epic 7 runs speed-based turn-based combat. I don't know what I'm saying, but yes. Where your units and enemies act based on a combat readiness bar that fills according to each unit's speed stat. Units hitting 100% readiness act immediately, and skills that push enemies backward on the bar or advance your own team are the entire foundation of the strategic meta in this game. The combat is really good, and also they have a world championship for this game. Same like Summoner's War. So I think this game is really good. This game is really competitive. And yes, you need to spend money, of course, if you want to get into that meta. But if you are just a casual player playing this game free to play, this game is really free to play friendly, especially in the earlier stages of the game. Of course, later on you will need to grind gear and whatnot, but it's still fun. Like, there's always something new to do. And there's years and years of content, so this game is full of content. And the stamina system in this game is quite generous, so I don't think you will be running out of stamina soon. Play this game is good, free to play friendly, and Epic 7, even though it's old, it's still a very good game in general. Next is Etheria Restart. Now, people think that this game is a copy and paste of Honkai Star Rail, but no, this game is more heavy on the PvP, so that this game is actually more similar to Epic 7 or Summoner's War. You play as a hyperlinker in a virtual world called Etheria, fighting a Genesis virus that's corrupting the enemy's population. Combat fields a team of 4 or 5 for harder content, so I think that's pretty nice. Where turn order is governed by each character's speed stat, again same as Epic 7 or Summoner's War. The elemental counter system has meaningful bite, with attribute advantages applying both damage modifiers and critical rate penalties that make elemental diversity a genuine requirement in late game content, not just a suggestion. Now, this game is also very free to play friendly because dupes in this game barely matter. Dupes in this game basically only provide like plus 2% critical rate, plus 4% critical damage, and so on. So I think that is a really good choice for the developers. I just wish that XD Entertainment gave more love into this game, because this game is really good. This game is very free to play friendly. And also, people are very competitive in this game because this game is a bit more PvP focused than PvE focused. So Etheria Restart, a very good free to play friendly game. It is also on Steam, and I think it's worth playing, guys. Next is Sword of Convallaria, a tactical SRPG that plays like a lost SNES classic had a baby with modern gacha games. Now, this is your typical tactical RPG, right? Like Fire Emblem Heroes, even Fire Emblem itself, as the Gundam G Generation Eternal, and obviously Mecharashi. But in this one, unit placement matters, elevation also matters, and facing enemies affect damage and skill range. There's a full job system where characters can be assigned different classes, each with their own skill trees, and switching classes mid-game to gather cross-job abilities adds a genuine depth to the character building. Outside the main story, the game has a world of convalescence. This is like the roguelite mode where you build a run-specific deck of abilities and push through increasingly difficult encounters. Branching narrative decisions carry real weight, and the people who play it tend to stick around because this game is good, the story is nice, and people say that this game is quite free to play friendly. So Sword of Convallaria, a good tactic gacha game. Fate Grand Order, yeah, an oldie, a gacha game that is built because of the fan base and because of the lore, I guess, because of the franchise. Combat is so old school, man. It runs on a command card system where you draw 5 cards each turn from a shuffled pool belonging to your 3 active servants. Yeah, you call heroes in this game servants because the anime said so. and arranging the right combination of arts, buster and quick cards in sequence generates bonus effects and fuels your noble phantasm gauge. Chaining specific card types grants powerful chain bonuses, and stringing 3 cards from one servant unlocks their brave chain for extra hits. So at least even though this is old school, as you can see, well, the turn-based combat has some unique mechanic, but again, the combat is dated at this point, but if you're a fan of Fate, Grand Order, I think this is okay. Personally, I don't really play it because you don't have auto in this game and the grind is horrible. So that's why. But it's still alive, still kicking, so try it at your own pace and yeah, enjoy the game, I guess. As the Gundam G Generation Eternal, I've said this many times that this game is good. Because if you're a Gundam fan and you have ever wanted to collect and deploy mechs or Gundams across the entire franchise history in a strategic turn-based format, this is your game. Combat gameplay is your typical SD Gundam gameplay or combat, whatever. It's a tactical grid turn-based, which is really nice. The game separates pilots and mobile suits into distinct components, so you can mix and match franchise icons with suits from different series entirely. Doesn't matter if you want to put Kira Yamato into a burning Gundam, you can do that. And the mobile suit development system lets you evolve mechs by battling or grinding parts from the story, from the dungeon. And eventually you can produce units through combination trees, and you can produce an SSR Gundam. Yeah, you don't have to pull in this game, you just have to grind. How amazing is that? So SD Gundam is a good game, very free to play, to some extent at least, and I do think that this game is worth playing. But I wish that it has a PC client though, hopefully soon. Limbus Company, this one, holy shit man, this one is good. It's unique, it's basically famous, it's not a hidden gem anymore. People say that this game is a hidden gem, but no, it's not. So in this game you manage a bus crew of 12 sinners, each based on famous literary characters, and descend into dungeons to fight through some of the most mechanically dense combat in the genre. The core system works on a clashing mechanic where you and enemies roll dice and compare skill values, with coin flips modifying the results. Your sanity meter, called SP here, degrades as your team takes hits or loses clashes, and low SP characters start missing coin flips, which means a bad run can genuinely destroy your perfect run. Yeah, this game is really challenging. Sometimes it can be overwhelming at first, because even for me, when I first played this game, I need to look at some guides so I can progress through the story, through the challenge, and mostly the end game content. But in this game, you don't have to really worry about like who to pull and this and that, because everyone is very compatible with each other, but you do have to experiment yourself if something works or not. And not to mention that the story for this game is godly. I think second best from Reverse 1999. And the last but not the least, it is Reverse 1999. If you want a gacha game that actually respects your intelligence, this is it. This is definitely not a flashy anime gacha game, but this game is beautiful, the story is beautiful, combat, it's quite repetitive, but it's alright, it does the job. So you play this card system where you have to move, mix and match, so that the card will become a stronger card, and then boom, you deal massive damage. And on top of that, each character has a mass skill that can be empowered by spending additional card actions. And you have ultimates. Honestly, I don't have anything much to say about Reverse 1999 because you have to experience this game yourself, because this is a story-driven gacha game. And it is quite rare for a gacha game to be this high quality in the story department, and it's not the Amnesia main character type of shit. So this game is good. Try it now.